Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so Deepraj has a general question. For all those who are new, we take general questions at the beginning of the class, which you are requested to put down in the chat box so that we can start with that. So Deepraj has a question. Why do we chant Om twice at the beginning? In all the classes, we chant it twice. So why? So Deepraj, we don't chant it twice. It turns out to be twice because we begin everything with Om. We begin everything with Om because whenever we start something, we remind ourselves what we're doing this for. Every time you perform an activity, any activity, you start with saying, what am I doing this for? So as spiritual sadhaks, what we are doing every activity for, including the class is mainly designed for that all of us remember our ultimate goal, which is Om, which is self-realization, which is the self, whichever one you want. Having remembered our goal, then we start the prayer. Now it so happens that the prayer also does the same thing. It starts with the word Om. Now there may be some prayers that don't start with the word Om for whatever reason. So we start the activity with Om and then we do the prayer. This particular prayer also starts with Om. That's how you end up chanting Om twice. But the point is that you can remember your goal as many times as you want because it's very easy to forget it. So you actually chant it thrice because when you're saying the Shanti also, again you chant that. It's almost like every aspect of what you do. When you're saying Shanti, why are we saying your Shantis? Because we are asking for something. Why are we asking for that thing? We are asking for it because we want to realize the self. So what are we asking for? We are asking Shanti. Shanti means peace. So Shanti to the heavens. Shanti to the environments. Let there not be tsunamis during our study. Let there not be storms. Let there not be whatever. To the heavens we refer. Say Shanti, quiet, you heavens. We are doing something important here. Then we're asking our environment, Shanti in the environment. You don't want something going on, somebody coming and asking you this, that, all this environmental stuff. Shanti, we're doing something important. Quiet, we require peace. And then the final source of disturbance is right here within us. So we tell our own minds, our own bodies, Shanti, peace. We're asking for these things. Since we're asking for them, we remember why we're asking for them. Okay, so that's wherever Om is said, it is to remind us of our ultimate goal. many of us may have come to this class maybe because there was some initial problem or there was some challenge or you wanted to achieve something and you were struggling to achieve that thing. You may have come to the subject with that kind of thing. Now, having been here, having become regular, it's time to up the ante, right? To think that no, my life is more than this, whatever it is I wanted to solve. Now, when you reach that, saying the Om will become much easier because you already trained your mind to do that. Just become easier. That's why with whatever purpose you come for, you still say Om. Because you can't say no, everybody in the class came for that. But still you start with Om because then graduating to the correct purpose becomes important. Okay. All right. So now where were we? Anyone new in the class today? Who is S? S, are you new? Who are you? Please write your whole name so that I can know who is there, so that it can be made effective for you. All seems like people I know. Okay, so where were we? We were on the path of reality. Now, path of reality is a very, very interesting connotation because firstly, we constantly say that we are on the path, right? We are trying to achieve spiritual growth. We are on the path. We are on the spiritual path. We are on the path to reality, on the path to God. We're constantly saying this. So it's important to remind ourselves that there's no such thing. There's no path to being yourself. You are yourself. Whether you know it, whether you don't know it, whether you care to know it, the fact remains that you are yourself. You're not going anywhere. There's no path to anything. There is no seeking anything. What are you seeking? You're going to seek yourself. So it's important for us to remember that. That is why he says that. Is why he gives this beautiful example of the tarnished pot. The tarnished pot, a brass pot, it's tarnished. Where are you going to find that pot? It's in your hand. Where are you going to hunt for it? It's right there. So where is my bright pot? Where is my bright pot? I said, but it's in your hand. What are you hunting for? You're saying the bright is in my hand. I can't see anything bright. I see something black over here. Okay, just wipe it. Clean it. Put nice brass soap. Clean it. It's right there. It's with you. It's in your hand. It's gone nowhere. You can't recognize it, but it is there. So it's drawing our attention to the facts. When we talk of path and seeking and all of this thing, it gives you a feeling that there is something else, somewhere we are going, something we're achieving. We're not achieving anything. We're simply rediscovering who you are. That's all. No path to reality. And yet we keep on saying this. Now, you have to use some language, right? So we're going to continue saying it. Don't say, oh, so are you going to stop saying path? No. We're going to continue saying path. But it's good to remind ourselves that there is no real thing. It is with us. One other example that is given in the scriptures. So many examples are given to drive home this idea. It's like you are wearing some necklace and you're hunting all over the house for it. What are you hunting for? It is with you. Or another example you can take, you take your glasses, you put them on your forehead, like many people do. And then you're hunting, where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? You're looking for something that you haven't lost. You're trying to get to a place that you are in already. Once that occurs to us, then it's no longer an extroverted pursuit anymore. Okay, so that's what he is talking about right now. Any questions, or should we continue? I have searched from my phone by dialing my own number with my phone. Very good. Yes, Raj, correct. Exactly what we are doing on the spiritual path. I remember one of my friends was talking to me on phone, and she says, just hang on a minute, I'll pay the cabbie and I'll continue the call. So she paid the cabbie, and then she came, I can't talk to you now. So what happened? Because she was very agitated. I looked all over, I can't find my phone anywhere. I'll just talk to you in a bit. What do you mean? Hello, hold it. You're talking to me, you are on the phone. She said. So Deepraj reminded me of that incident. I can't talk to you. My phone is lost. I think I must have left it in the cab. That cab was irritating me so much. Hold it.
Happened to me also.
Happened to you also. Okay. So this is exactly what is happening to all of us. Looking for something which we have with us right here. It's not gone anywhere. Anything in this world can leave me, but myself cannot leave me. What will it leave and where will it go? So this idea clear that we are not hunting for anything. That is why, you must have heard often spoken about this, that knowledge in Vedanta is not gaining something, but is removing ignorance. In every other knowledge, you're supposed to gain something. Now, it's a good time to remind ourselves also of the fact that we tend to gain more information, even on the spiritual path. I want to read this book. I want to know what that religion says. I want to see, Upanishad, I must study Upanishad one day. So our attention goes to acquisition and enjoyment, even while we believe we are on the path. So Swamiji has very intelligently told his students, you're going to study 5 books. The mind can't go anywhere. Study Vedanta treatise, you study Bhagavad Gita. Your story is over. And then a lot of people say, no, but that is so, what should I say, so restricting. You should have a lot of information. You should know everything about everywhere. No, just study Vedanta treatise. And if you finish studying it, you study Bhagavad Gita. You finish Bhagavad Gita, study Vedanta treatise. 2 books, you go on. And if you need a lot of entertainment, we've written a few more. You can read those. Because we fool ourselves. We believe we've got so much information. We need these stories from those Puranas, and we know this, and we know that, and we know so many things. Why are we doing acquisition over here? This is not acquisition and preservation. This is the opposite of acquisition and preservation. It's a good time to just remind ourselves. There's so many slip-ups on the path. It's good to keep on reminding ourselves. There we go off even though we are on the path. All right, so that was just an add-on. Now, coming back to the text. Who will read the next paragraph?
I can read.
Please.
Similarly, the divinity is obscured in people by their vasanas, desires. Vedanta provides the brasso technique, removes the incrustation of desires. The technique comprises the 3 main disciplines of karma, bhakti, and jnana yogas, the path of action, devotion, and knowledge. Apply this technique regularly until the desires drop off. When the desires are reduced considerably, You develop mental concentration. With the growth of concentration, you could practice meditation. And through sustained meditation, the last trace of asana, the desire for self-realization, vanishes. You become the self, attain spiritual enlightenment. So this illustrates the spiritual journey. We first, like, how do we remove our desires? First, we follow the three techniques of karma, bhakti, and jnana. Then that enables us for mental concentration. And finally, with the sustained mental concentration, we start the practice of meditation, where the last desire for self-realization also vanishes, and we are left with ourselves.
So what are we doing is uncovering the divinity that has been obscured. That's all. Just uncovering the divinity that has been obscured. And that's your brasso technique. Madeline, you know what's brasso? Yeah, you have brasso too. Okay. Brasso. Yeah. So you scrub it and you scrub it and you rub it and you scrub it. That's exactly what you do. So the desires are removed through the processes of karma, bhakti, and jnana. The path of action, the path of devotion, and the path of knowledge. Once the desires reduce considerably, then we are free, then we are capable of meditation. Now remember that apply brasso to the pot. What are you doing? You have a black, dark pot. You're applying brasso. When there is brasso on that pot, is the pot clean? It's not, no, you just added more dirt to it. Until you remove the brasso, the pot is not clean. So this technique of removing the brasso itself is called meditation. So what is it that we have used to clean ourselves is the thought of the self. The thought of divinity, of realization, God, transcendental reality, truth, something you called it. Now, as long as that something is there, you still have not revealed the divinity within. So that last thought has to also go. The purpose of meditation is to remove that last thought. The purpose of meditation is not to teach us concentration, stress relief. This is not the purpose of meditation. You don't say, I'm doing my PhD so that I learn the alphabets. No. After you learn the alphabets, you can come and do your PhD. Much after you learn the alphabets. So if we can't be peaceful, if we cannot concentrate, then the way to do this is to understand, why are we not peaceful, or why can't we concentrate? Why is my mind so stressed? Why can my intellect not focus? Why not? Because of the desires. And when these desires reduce, concentration is a byproduct. Peace is a byproduct. You don't go hunting for concentration and hunting for peace. These are all byproducts. When you have concentration, when you have peace, you will have productivity. These are byproducts, but they are byproducts of growth, reduction of desires. Many people think, give us some techniques by which we will become more productive or more peaceful or more clear thinkers. The technique is karma, bhakti, and jnana. That's the technique. No, but they don't want to remove desire. What they want to do is some special thing, for time management. Tell us what to do. And somebody will say, you must learn to prioritize. Okay, very nice. Please learn all these things. But remember that they are all band-aids. They temporarily cover things. As long as the desire is within, all these things are coming right back. Temporarily, you will feel good. It's like you go have a drink at the pub, you will feel good. What's the big deal? Feeling good, what's the big deal? Anything can make you feel good. A good ice cream makes you feel good. A good snap makes you feel good. You use religion to feel good. Pagal hai kya? Varsha, yeah, Varsha, you have a question?
No, I was just saying, I think it's a matter of semantics, like how meditation is defined in general and how, we define it in Vedanta. When it's just like yoga, right? Yuja means to unite with the self. That is what it is. But when people do yoga, it's physical exercise. Similarly, I think when people say, they do meditation to calm, it is basically to, really calm their breath and, get a hold of themselves. Um, that's how they define it, and that's how it's defined in Vedanta. So I, like, everybody who says that we meditate to get rid of stress or calm or whatever, basically what they're doing is some breathing techniques and some focusing techniques or whatever it is, basically to calm down your emotions, and that helps people. I don't know. So I just feel that it's how it's defined in both places. I mean, some people interpret it like that and some the other way. It's not that if you sit and meditate, you're going to attain the self. That is a wrong notion.
I'm not sure why you're saying all this. So almost like you're defending them. I don't know what you're defending from. I'm not attacking them, Varsha. Why are you defending them?
No. I was just saying that we always say that, that meditation is not to be done till you have got rid of all your desires. But what I was saying was that is the meditation that we mean on this path of, attaining reality. But then there are people who do practice meditation for a different reason, and
Don't
that is
repeat the
different.
whole thing, Varsha. Don't
Sorry.
repeat the whole thing all over again. The point is, why are you saying this? What is the point of it? You're trying to say that it's good that however they define meditation, it's irrelevant in this discussion. So, however they define meditation, standing on their head, they define meditation as standing on their head, and they do it. So,
Yeah.
what's the point?
The point is that I think sometimes we tend to, kind of deride the fact that they are meditating and they're not supposed to do it now, but they're not really meditating to attain the self. They are doing it in a different way for a different reason. So it's okay.
Varsha, don't repeat. Okay, you
Yeah.
said that you have established that
Yeah.
you are feeling very sorry for these people who are doing this meditation.
No,
However,
I'm not. Yeah.
Stop.
Okay.
What is the point of saying this? Why didn't you defend the people who are going to the pubs and having a drink? They are also feeling good. Why are you not talking about those people? How does it matter whether you went to the pub, you had a drink, you had an ice cream, you went and sat and did some breathing? I mean, yes, if you do breathing, it's better for your body than if you had an ice cream. Okay, I'll buy that.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you defending them? It doesn't make sense. Anything you do which is of a temporary covering of your agitation is something of a temporary covering of your agitation. That's the only
Yes.
point.
True. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, don't have
All
to.
right.
Don't have to defend people who go to the pub. Now, Madeline will say, I go to the pub and you're talking about the pub. Why should you talk about the pub? We have such a good time in the pub. But okay, fine. I'm sure Madeline, poor thing, doesn't go to the pub every day. But, but everybody, Varsha, finds some way to put band-aid to their problems. But they don't go to the very root of it all, that as long as I have that desire will bother me. So I cannot get rid of a desire. The minimum I should try to do is at least direct that desire. Let us say, for instance, I have a desire for, I don't know, give some example. That's why I like people telling me their problems, because then at least I get an example to talk about some problem. Varsha.
Talking.
Huh?
I have a desire to talk.
You have a desire to do. Okay, all right, I have a desire to talk. Then I must know the right time, the right place. Am I making sense? Am I talking at the right time to the right person? This is called directing a desire. If you don't do this thing, you will talk and the other person is going to reject what you say, and then you're going to get upset, and then you're going to get more agitated, and then you're going to fight with that person, and then the whole samsara of things will start. So instead of finding band-aids and temporary cures for our problem, let us try and understand it from the root itself. Now, there are times you may need a band-aid. Okay, now suppose you're weeping and weeping. Your mind is so hot and all, you're weeping. I recommend you please have an ice cream if that works for you. But that's a band-aid. It's not that band-aids are useless. Of course, don't we all apply a band-aid when it's necessary? Please apply it if necessary. But please understand that it's a band-aid. It's not solving your problem. You can go to a million courses and seminars on all these things. It's not going to solve the problem unless you learned this fundamental fact. And if you don't learn this fundamental fact, either here or anywhere else, well then, the band-aids after band-aids just continue. Deepa, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Janki ji. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, recently even I had a friend saying, I don't know about you people, but when I meditate, I get a lot of clarity. I said probably that can be called contemplation, not meditation, because they're not thinking of the self or the God. They're thinking of their problems and calming the mind. So obviously some kind of clarity has come. But thank you for making it very clear why we need to meditate. I totally lost the plot till you explain now. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, everything works. It's not that things don't work. Suppose you're getting very agitated. Many years ago, I read this, there was a newspaper, I think at least, 30 years ago. I don't know how many, like many, many years. I read in the book, in the papers, they constantly come out. Even till today, they're coming out with this, but that time they came out with this thing. 50 ways to reduce stress. So I thought, oh, that's very good. 50 ways. I mean, at least one or two will be useful ones. So I read it all. Carefully I read it. I'm very interested in knowing all these things. So I carefully read it. And I remember two of them. I don't remember the rest because two I thought were effective. I thought the possibility of being effective. One was cut cucumber slices and put it on your eyes. I thought that's very effective. You put that, and you feel nice and cool, Obviously, you'll feel good, your stress will go away. The other one was have a hot shower. That's also a good one. There's no denying it. You will feel good. I think I never did put the cucumber pieces, but I remembered it and I thought one day I have to try this. Never got down to doing it, but I think it'll feel really good. Now, these two, which I remember of the 50, is anybody denying that will make you feel good? You have a good meal, don't you feel good? You have a good conversation, don't you feel good? They'll tell you things like, go meet your friends, you'll feel great. Of course, you meet your friends, you hang out, you laugh, you joke, you talk about nonsense. You feel good. I mean, so what? Why do you need this great thing called religion just for a feel-good factor? Isn't it a little disrespectful? What are you using for what? And here you had in your hand, suppose you had a meeting with the Prime Minister. He called you, okay? And he told you, is there any way I can help you? And you said, yes, please. There's a very good ice cream available in that shop. Can you order it for me? And then somebody tells you, what did you go and say? And you say, wow, that was a very good ice cream. Okay, yeah, it was a very good ice cream, but using what for what? This is an absence of discrimination. So, of course you can use it for that, but what for? Here you had the chance to remove it from its root and you used it as a band-aid. That is
Well,
what we are.
can I say something?
Yeah, Varsha, you already told us you like to speak. So how can we say anything?
Yeah, I know. It's not that I like them. I'm all for being or for fair play. Everybody has a right. No, so I was just thinking that which means that it depends on your intellectual growth, what you get out of that, great system, right? Yeah. So obviously, people who have not grown will get only that much out of it, and so be it. I mean, how can we judge and say, Kiare, such a great thing, and this is all you got out of it? But, that is the limitation of that person.
Varsha, I can see that you are trying to feel, you're feeling very bad for these people you think we are criticizing. We're not criticizing others. It's about us. This is what
No.
Why will we bother? So many people are doing, some people are jumping off planes, some people are jumping off cliffs, some people are, all sorts of people in this world are doing all sorts of things. So, what are we supposed to do about it? Everybody's free to do what they want.
Yeah.
This class is for us to see what we are doing. What are we using this knowledge for? Okay, and to understand it in its right perspective. Somehow, I don't know, Varsha got this impression, maybe others got this impression that we are criticizing people who are doing something. We're not. It's nothing about others. It's about just me and just you if you want to do this. If you want to do this, then this is the way to do it. And if you want to, whatever else you want to do, none of our business. It's none of our business what our children do. How is our business about these people who are doing whatever they are doing? Let's not in this class think of others. This is all for us to either get it or not get it, as the case may be. And as Varsha says, based on our intellect, we will take. So no debate there. So Varsha, we are not. And if anyone else also got this impression, because if Varsha got it, others may have also got this impression. It's quite likely that when we hear these things, we're keeping on thinking of someone else. We have to constantly be thinking back to ourselves. I did this, not he or she does this. Yes, Varsha. The Bharat. The temporary band-aid will cease to be a band-aid when the eventual bigger problem comes. So there's no escaping the right path. Yes. Well, yes, as in everything, if it's a band-aid, if it's a very superficial sort of, like the husband and wife are fighting, then their anniversary comes. So they tell each other, okay, it's our anniversary. Today we won't fight. So for a few hours, they manage not to fight. But after those few hours are over, you're back to square one. So band-aid is a band-aid. You just decide not to fight, but it would have been better had you used the anniversary to sit down and ask the question, why are we fighting? Because then maybe we'd have solved the problem. Let's find out what's going on here. You are this and you are that and you are then and you are then and you. Let's stop. Is there any fact that we agree upon? Let us start from those things. Is there any fact we agree upon? Okay, I said this and you said that, forget. But is there some fact that we can find, that we both agree on? And then build from those facts to more facts to more facts. All that is work. Nobody wants work. So it's okay to use the band-aid in acute situations, but with the awareness of what we are doing and why. We covered that point, Varsha. Varsha, you were so agitated at the thought of this unfair treatment given out to the rest of this world. You were missing the points. Yes, band-aid is not. Remember I said that you're very agitated. Then have an ice cream. But please understand, ice cream is not solving the problem. That's all we're trying to say. Nobody's saying don't use band-aids, don't do this, don't do that. No instruction. You do whatever you want. No, you don't have to justify your actions over here. You are responsible for your life. Nobody needs to agree with you. Nobody needs to ratify what you say. There is no Daniel come to judgment. Who will decide that what you did is right or what you did is wrong? Nobody has the right. Okay? You don't have the right to comment on my life. I don't have the right to comment on your life. You don't have the right to comment on your spouse and your children, and they don't have the right to comment on you. Each one is an individual. Each one will do what they believe right. Now, since this be so, we are all here to find out what really is right. What should I do? How do I do this? This is all my responsibility. Now, if I choose to use a Band-Aid, it's my business, and you have no right to speak about this. Okay? If I choose to not know that it is a Band-Aid, this is again my business, and you have no right to speak on it. But if anybody wants to know, then this may be a way of thinking about this issue. Okay, so where were we? So how do you get to the root of the problem is to find our own self. Even in small time problems, the way we get to their root is try to find some facts, right? So in the whole problem, if you're going to solve the whole problem, if you're going to have a, what is it they call it in theory of everything, okay? So you're going to have a theory of everything. Let's find where is the root problem. And then if you think and think and think, maybe you will reach the same conclusion that Vedanta reached, which is it lies in that desire. Because the desire prevents you from seeing the fact. And as long as the desire is there, neither will you have clarity, nor will you have peace, nor will you have productivity, because you're doing this blind. It is just blocking vision. Now, suppose the desire goes. What will you see? A lot of people ask that question. Suppose all desires are gone. What will you see? Yesterday, I don't know if you came to the class yesterday, Arjuna said, what is that guna atita? Who's that person who saw? Because his desires are gone. So what did he see? What did he do? How did he behave? While you have the desire, you will never know the answer to that question. It's like you're blind. You're saying my blindness goes, what will I see? You can't answer that question. Can you tell the blind man, poor fellow, what is blue? What is green? Don't tell him. So don't even ask the question. That if my desire were to go, what would I see? There is no way for us to tell. If this entire encrustation of desire goes, what is the reality? Don't know. Can't answer the question. So that's why they say the common way of saying this is, can anyone tell me the common way of saying it? Now I'll know how many have been concentrating and how many have been fooling around.
Snake in the room.
The common way of saying it, not an illustration,
Okay.
a sentence. Yeah.
You realize the self.
Yeah, you realize the self, correct, but the common way of saying that what it will be when your desires have all been removed, what will you see? You can never tell. Right? The common way of saying it is, the short form of saying it is,
Gunatita.
okay, that means you remove. Yeah.
Moksha.
Okay, that's just a name for it. Common way of saying the idea, the concept.
Are you referring to the comparison of waking and dream?
The common way of saying it is the self is beyond the intellect. You heard that a billion times, right? When you say the self is beyond the intellect means what? While your desires are there, you cannot understand what that reality is. It can't be done. The scientists are doing it. Okay, they're saying, how does it begin? What is the reality? What is the string theory? How many dimensions are there? Did the Big Bang take place? And is it like so many theories? And wonderfully astounding theories. And their theories may all be correct also, for all we know. However, no matter how many theories they get, no matter how many correct theories they get, still won't know the reality. What really is it? All that they will achieve in time is push the question backwards. Okay, so there is a theory of transpermia. Transpermia is a theory that how did life come to Earth? So one of the theories is transpermia, which a lot of people sort of accept nowadays, which is that it was seeded by life from outer space, in the sense the comets brought some bacteria or virus over here, and then that single cellular thing grew. Otherwise, it's difficult to answer this question, right? At some time, there was only matter, gross matter. There was no life. So how did that gross matter convert itself to life is a big question, because there's a difference between the two. So one of the theories, it got seeded from outer space, like the comets came, crashed into Earth, carried some single cellular being, and then from that being, of course. So let us say, for argument's sake, that this theory is correct. But it still doesn't answer the question, because now we know how life came on Earth, but we still don't know how it came on that comet. So all that science can do, this is what philosophers say, all that science will do is push the question further back. But you cannot know the reality. That's why they say self is beyond the intellect. So the only way to know it is remove the desires, and then you see whatever there is. That's the only way to do it. Deep branch. It's like numbers. No matter how big a number you have, there's always a number bigger than that. Yeah, there's always something more. There's no end to this thing. Okay, so clear so far? Then we shall do this beautiful poem that explains the whole path. Now, why we're doing a poem that explains the whole path is because from now on, from the next paragraph, chapter onwards, he's going to do the whole path. Each part of the path gets a chapter of its own. So we have the 4 yogas, then we have renunciation, then we have meditation, and finally we have self-realization. So one chapter on all of these. Okay, so who wants to read the poem? This paragraph is clear, right, to everybody? That when all the incrustation is removed, what remains is the self, is that reality. Okay, it is not that you're gaining something. It is not that you're even going to know right now what is that thing you're going to gain or what is going to happen. It is all dark, it's all unknown. But when you remove the incrustation completely, then what remains is the reality. That's the only time to know it. That's the only possibility of knowing what is the ultimate truth. Is there an ultimate truth? And what it is. All this we will know only then. It usually said that the self is beyond the intellect. That's the easy way of saying this. Okay, so now, this much is clear, right? Nobody has any problems up to this point. Okay, who will read the poem from now on?
Shall I read, Janki-ji?
Yes, do.
So, the daffodils. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. William Wordsworth.
Most of us have read this poem and heard of it in various ways. Now, two ways we can do it. We can either do the poem first and then read the paragraphs, or we can read the paragraphs as an explanation of the poem. Which one would you like to do? First, read an explanation and then read the paragraphs, or read the paragraphs and then the explanation? Which one?
The first one.
Hmm?
The first approach.
Read and explain. Do the explanation first. So
Yes.
it's easier to understand that way. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. Everyone agrees, right? So let's do the daffodils. The daffodils is, okay, William Wordsworth was a romantic poet. A romantic poet means a poet who writes about nature and things like that. They're more introspective. They go to nature. They learn truths by watching nature. Romantic does not mean what we usually consider that word to mean. Romantic poet means it was a period in poetry where they were all about nature and beauty and goodness and ideals and things like that. And they use nature as a way of expressing that. So William Wordsworth was one of the most famous poets of that period, and of course, among the all-time greats. So here's what he has written. And if you read it with a Vedantic eye, it's actually amazing that did he actually think this? So he starts off with a sixer. I wandered lonely as a cloud. I wandered lonely as a cloud. Wandering means no attachment. I'm not stuck to any place. So without attachment, I'm detached and free to be at anywhere. So I wandered, lonely. Lonely meaning I can wander, I can go on trips, right? Sometimes people take their whole khandan with them, their whole family, their cooks, their servants, their family, the whole thing, or the whole caravan. The gypsies also wander, but their whole world goes with them wherever they go. In India, there are some communities, they take their special community cooks with them when they go abroad. So if you are traveling, why do you want home food? Why don't you stay at home and eat home food? But no, they want everything at home to be wherever they go. So not clear why they travel, but they like to do this in a different environment, I guess. But this is a different kind of loneliness and wandering. Wandering doesn't necessarily mean that you went somewhere. It means I'm not stuck anywhere. And wherever I go, I'm not just carrying everything. Have you seen people who sometimes carry stuff like 5 suitcases need to go with them? Once a girl came to the ashram and she came for a few days and she came with 2 massive suitcases. So I said, wow, that's a lot of clothes for 2 days. In the ashram, we wear the uniform. We don't wear any other clothes. So why would you carry so many clothes? It's not even like she was going anywhere else. She was coming to the ashram and going back to Australia. So why? That's curiosity. Like, what you do with so many clothes? So that's not clothes. So I have my makeup and creams. Oh, okay, I learned something new. 1 suitcase, big, massive one. That's interesting. You live and learn. So you're not talking about that kind where you take your whole world with you wherever you go. I wandered lonely. You can be detached. You can be free to go anywhere. But do you go anywhere as a cloud? A cloud means something which is a symbol of service. Wherever the cloud goes, it gives, and it gives and gives so much that it gives itself away. There's nothing left after it gives. So he's a detached, service-oriented person. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills. The vales are the valleys, the hills are the crests. So life is nothing but the ups and downs, the valleys and the mountains, and the cloud goes above it all. If we live a life of detachment and service, then the ups and downs of life cannot bother us at all. And when we live in this condition, unaffected by what's going on, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, suddenly this great deal of joy and wonder comes to us. And all at once, suddenly, you're living your life, and then suddenly the experience is very different. Then all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. A different experience of joy. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched a never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Not daffodils, he's a weed. He's not looking at roses and saying this. He's looking at something which other people consider like they won't even notice it. What is this thing? And remember William Cooper says that, can draw honey from a weed. Those who trip and wisdom lead can draw honey from a weed. Look at the amount of honey he draws. That means in the most ordinary circumstances, he lives the most satisfied and the most wonderful feeling. He's just so happy with everything. You can see 10,000, like not one or two, 10,000. It's like it's bursting forth with happiness. The waves besides them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. These are all the expressions of seeing this whole beauty. It is representative of Bhakti Yoga. Working in a spirit of service and sacrifice is representative of Karma Yoga. So first he starts with karma. Karma gives him those feelings of bhakti. And once he has those feelings of happiness and bhakti, then he says, I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. I gazed and gazed. This indicates the contemplation of Jnana Yoga. You are aghast at nature. You are aghast at the truths of life. You are aghast to see all this. So your mind is extremely happy and your intellect is contemplative. Gazed and gazed. Thoughts came again and again. And he did not quite understand how it all fits together. You also will find that, in fact, you find it frequently. You understood an idea here, you understood an idea there, and then one day it all comes together like a 3D image. You don't understand how those little bits work together. You don't understand what happened, but suddenly now, it's a different world as far as you're concerned. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mode. This is now representative of the next step, which is meditation. in vacant or in pensive mood. Vacant means no thought. Pensive means thinking. So what a beautiful way to express meditation. Vacant because it is not thinking of anything of the world. And it's pensive because it's thinking of the higher. So single pointed thought on the higher, no other thought. So in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. Then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. And then what happens after meditation? You become one with the daffodils, you become one with everything. It's no longer you watching the daffodils, it is you and daffodils are the same. It's the one thing. So if you read the poem with our understanding, you find how close it comes to what Vedanta is talking about. You do karma, you do bhakti, you do jnana, then comes meditation, and finally you dance with the daffodils. After you enjoy the bliss of solitude. Bliss of solitude is where? Meditation, all of that. And then you come to, then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. First he was enjoying the beauty, right? Now he is it. It's all one. So interesting, right? Now we can read the paragraphs. Okay. Who will read the next paragraph?
I can read.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first line of the poem suggests Karma Yoga, the spiritual path of action. It is selfless action performed in a spirit of detachment. The word wandered signifies a sense of detachment. A wanderer moves about with no particular place or person to return to, and lonely confirms that he is not attached to anybody. He relates to the world with a true spirit of renunciation, while the comparison to a cloud reveals his dedication to service and sacrifice. A cloud symbolizes the extremity of service and sacrifice. The cloud gives rain, produce, prosperity. The extremity of service is not just giving all that one possesses, but giving oneself away. That is what a cloud does. In providing rain, a cloud gives all that it has and gives itself away. That is the caliber of service rendered by one who practices Karma Yoga. Do I continue?
And just summarize this.
So the whole this first line is about Karma Yoga, the path of action, and the word wandered signifies the sense of detachment, and the word lonely confirms that you're not attached to anybody. And the word cloud signifies total selfless service and sense of sacrifice. So sacrificing not just what you have, but yourself until you've given yourself away. And that's the kind of service that is required when we're practicing Karma Yoga.
Okay. I would remove the last sentence. We may not all live up to that last sentence of yours, Jyoti, but still we need to practice Karma Yoga.
Okay.
So yes, so this is what is Karma Yoga, that you are totally detached and you are serving others. In other words, you're not serving because you're hoping to get something. The service is what is genuine service. There's no price tag to it. I did this for you, so now you have to do this for me. The price tag for it. That's karma yoga. And that is the first and most effective way of living life. That we can do what we need to do. I'm not asking anything in return. We just decide for ourselves what is the right thing to do and do it. That's it. Full stop.
Sankiji, one clarification. So a person doing karma yoga is still full of desires, right? I mean, so how is this detachment coming about?
To the extent he's doing karma yoga, to that extent, it's the more the karma yoga, the less the desires, right? So we don't start as this high level of service. Remember, he's about to realize the self. 3 paragraphs down, he's going to realize the self. So we don't start over there. We do karma, desires reduce. That enables us to do little more karma that reduces desires further. And as this thing goes, you reach the pinnacle of karma yoga, which is just nothing else. You're totally detached and you are. It's easy to be detached and say, I've got nothing to do with you guys. Like in the weddings, they say, don't bring us gifts. Not about that. Some people say, I don't give gifts, I don't take gifts. It's not about that. It's have no demand to get anything. And you are always ready to serve. I mean, you can't do an action, you become incapable of doing an action which is not one of service. You become incapable of that. That's where we have to reach. So, Bharat, you seem to have assumed that that karma is just done at the beginning. No, karma is done right up to the end.
Yes, thank you.
Right?